Hello, 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 and welcome to the Heart, Mind, and Voice Show, honey. Hello, HMB fam. We love you out there. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello.
So happy to see everyone tonight. I'm so excited about the show tonight. Oh, I tell
Yeah.
y'all, special co-host tonight, y'all. I'm going to get right into it. Of course, you know, I am your girl. Well, tonight I'm Mother Coach Shalonda. Yes, pure and wholesome I am. We have your girl, Miss Queen A, known as, what are you tonight?
You
You're
know
looking
what?
fabulous.
I haven't had my costume fully together, but I'm supposed to be a cat, but I wasn't able to put on my makeup, so I have my little toy.
But you're looking good. I would love to see you with the mask on. Let me see how you look. Look at me, want to see. Oh, girl, sexy. You look real sexy. I love that mask on you.
Thank you.
And
Thank
then we
you.
have our special co-host, Jonathan Willis.
Yeah, that's right.
Tonight, Don the realist.
Say it again. I didn't hear you.
What's your costume?
Um, I'm a farmer by day and I'm a trucker by night.
You know
All
what?
right. He two things in one.
I
Okay.
got two jobs. You know, I got
Yes,
to get my hustle on,
you look every bit of it too. The trucker by
and
day,
and a farmer.
by night, and the farmer by day. I
That's
love
right.
it. And we are missing our girl, Miss Serious K. She's out tonight. She had a special event to attend, but we miss you and we love you. We'll see you on next Saturday. So let's get off into our show tonight. First of all, we do want to make some acknowledgments tonight. Our former U.S. Secretary of State, Colin Powell, he's no longer with us. So we just want to pay respects to him, to his family. They are in our thoughts and prayers. We know how hard it is, you know, when you lose a loved one. So
Yes.
we just want to, you know, pay our respects to it. He was a great, great, great man. Has left a great legacy. So he will be in our memories forever, and as well as the family. So we want to move forward with our show. But first of all, we have our small talk. So how was everyone's week?
Are we still in retrograde?
For real. Oh, oh, John
Listen.
the Realist. John the Realist, do you know what retrograde is?
I have no idea, but please enlighten me.
Oh, go ahead, Queen A. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, oh God. So, well, we spoke about it before, but it usually happened, quarterly, 3 or 4 times a year. We just got out of it, and it was in your sign, Libra.
Oh,
So,
geez. Here we go. That's why I don't know about it. But go ahead.
so it's just a time of reviewing, redoing, replanning. So that's really what it is. It comes to challenge us. Mercury represents communication, contracts, travel. People from the past, blasts from the past may try to show up, but so technically in that time you may have issues with your computer, communication, relationship challenges, and so forth. But it's really a good time to review. But we usually have some challenges that keeps us. So Mercury retrograde kind of keeps us in integrity. Whatever is out of integrity, it challenges us to get in
Yes.
integrity in that area.
And
So
Oh,
if
this
it wasn't
and
perfect,
this is what? And this is what? What's it
this
called again?
is Mercury retrograde.
Mercury retrograde. Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Hmm. And it's,
I call it life, but okay.
you know
It
what?
is. You know what? It
It
is
is life.
life.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Absolutely, it is life.
Oh, we just love our farmer and trucker. You know that we love our farmer and
Not I
trucker.
thought you was a scarecrow.
Oh, oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just like messing with my brother. He is my
Yeah.
brother.
And she know I don't like that astrology stuff. That's why, like, okay, it's cool.
Only
Mm,
John the realist. Only John
yes.
the realist. Well, let's get off into our show tonight, y'all. Let's talk about one of our first hot topic, which is pig in the blanket. Okay, I'm gonna be serious. We're
Yeah.
no, we're not gonna say pig in a blanket. We're gonna talk about U.S. surgeons successfully attach a pig kidney to a human. Oh my God! And this happened in New York. Don the
Yes.
Realist in New York. Some New York
I did not
surgeons.
hear. I did not hear about this. This is sick.
No, it's not sick. Well, I don't think it's sick, but okay. So I'll just give a brief. Queen A, if you want to go into it more, that's fine. But I just want to give a brief summary of the story that the person was brain dead, so the family donated her body to, the study, the research, and so they used the pig kidney. And did it bring her back to life? I think it brought her back to life, or it
Uh,
worked inside her body. Queen A, it
yes.
worked inside her body,
It,
and the one of the head doctors or the lead doctors was saying that how a lot of times, we have to wait until someone die to get their organs. That's if the family donate certain particular organs that that person may need to continue to live, to survive, bring back to life. And so she needed a kidney, or that was the end of her life. And so the pig kidney. So they're like, this is a paradigm. Hello, we can now possibly use pigs or animals. Oh God, organs inside of a human. I mean, this we are. I was gonna say something down the realist. I have to say we are in the Aquarian age. He's like, oh, here we go, here we go. All about technology, innovation. And believe me, this is something huge and amazing now. Of course, I mean, if so you're saying that if you had to live or die and there was nobody else kidney available, but the doctor was like, hey, let's try this pig kidney that we have because it works.
mhm.
Would you tell would you want your family to try that or just let you go ahead and meet your maker?
Honestly, I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know. Well, I don't eat pork, so I can't see me running around with a pig kidney in me. But it's up to it's. I don't know. I really don't know. I have it. If it's my time, it's my time. I mean,
Mhm.
why prolong it and keep me hanging around seeing what's going on in the world now? When it's time for me to transition and get out of here, all right, see you later.
Wow.
Yeah.
They shed some light on this for us.
So it was Dr. Montgomery out of New York.
Yeah.
New York, New York.
I love New
So,
York.
so, so basically, when the person was brain dead, he performed the surgery outside of her body.
Hmm.
And they realized that it did work. The kidney hit the pig's
Yeah.
kidney, and they said I don't know what this exactly means, but they said that it was genetically produced or something. I don't know what that means.
So they made it in the lab.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess so. I guess the
So
Yeah. That's
pig
what they said.
yeah, I guess the pig possibly was raised in the lab or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's a little bit of concern because that has a lot of to me red flags, but it shows some sign of success. What was the challenging part was that they did not test it in her body, and the fact that she was basically brain dead.
Brain dead.
So right, so it does raise some questions to someone who is actually functioning. Will the person body be able to accept a pig's organ? So science is amazing though. Science is doing all type of things. But when you think about the Jewish culture as well as the Muslim culture, or where Donald said he doesn't eat pork, it questions stuff like that. When a pig is taking parts of the pig, and a pig is, swine is considered the dirtiest pig. And to take that, yeah, and to take that organ and put it inside of a human, I mean, I
but
wonder,
isn't the kidney is a filter, correct?
it is a filter. It
Right.
is.
So they put it in a person's body who's brain dead, who's not eating, who's
Right.
not drinking, who's not doing nothing. So they
Right.
probably attached it and said that the tissues were living. They
Yeah.
can't actually say that it worked.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that's
Right.
true.
Right.
But the issues were everything was functioning
Right.
properly. But
Right.
you're right.
So the thing is now to test it at a live human, and put it inside the body, would the body accept it? The body was not fully functionable. So
Hmm.
um But our producer said the pig was raised specifically for this. So I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
science knows. So they
So it had a clean diet.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Probably
So
had all kind of stuff. It wasn't what do you call it? Running around on the farm with me,
right.
eating everything. So
But again, for the Jewish culture, that's considered to be everything is kosher. To them, a pig is not kosher.
Yeah.
So
right.
yeah, so that raises some concern. Why did they use another animal?
I know. Well, and I feel like, we all have freedom of choice. So that would be the choice of the family for
Mhm.
them if they were to, you know, need that particular surgery. And okay,
Right.
so this swine is available as this organ that your loved one needs. So it's up to the family. And if the family rejects it, hey, they have that right to reject it and say no.
Well, sometimes the family don't want to let go, so they'll try anything to keep that loved one around.
Yeah,
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 That's the thing. So
I
yeah.
definitely think it's innovative. It's something, wow, what's next?
Right.
To start thinking of that, and your mind can go so many ways with organs from an animal, organs from people, and
Mhm.
I mean, good and bad. When you think about how people have been kidnapped and their organs, they may have found the person and their organs were missing.
Mhm.
What they say they do with those organs, and so now I'm like thinking about the animals, like, uh-oh. So
I
now the
forgot.
doctors are like, go ahead.
It was a guy. I forgot his name. It was a black guy. Where he was missing. They found him, and his organs
Yeah,
was missing.
his organs were missing. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
his eyes and and other
yeah,
organs was
his
missing.
brain.
So that
Ooh,
and you
God.
know what? That's hot. So that's like a black market. That's in the black market where they selling human parts or human organs in the black market. So yeah,
Ooh. Yeah, so it could be a little ooh, and then it could be a little hmm. So it makes you think about think about it in its totality about
Mhm.
okay, so now the doctors can possibly, and I'm sure they tested a swine, but I'm sure they're going to raise other animals and
Right.
see what will work in this, and then I don't know because I often will wonder. I'm not that deep in science to understand, or will wonder how will the body function as a human with a dog this or cat that or whatever, just whatever, and a horse didn't, or a horse woo, or just different.
Well, horse parts may be good though.
So let's move on.
That'll be good. It'll be good.
So let's talk about this Dr. Dre's divorce papers being delivered at his granny's funeral. Oh my God. So I'll just go ahead and get what I think first about this. I mean, I can think about it in a cold way. I can think about it in the human way. I can kind of think about it all kind of ways. But Dr. Dre's soon to be ex-wife, she had her attorney deliver his papers, probably those alimony papers, allegedly, to his grandmother's funeral. Now, granted, that was his grandmother's funeral. That is not a happy place. That is not a happy time for him or any of his loved ones. But I look at it, that was the only way that she can track him down and hand him those papers
Mhm.
so that she can begin to get her papers. Now, yeah, that sounds cold, but she's still living life. She has to move on with her life. This is what he helped her create, this divorce. So, and that was the way that she and her attorney could find him and track him down because I'm sure he's behind a lot of security and everything else, gates, and probably can't even get near him. So this was a way that she could get near him. And the papers were served at his grandmother's funeral. So tell me, guys, what do you guys think about that? Queen A, what do you think about papers being delivered at the grandmother's?
Um, I mean, I don't think it's a good time, but again, I do believe that maybe she couldn't track him down. But I hope it wasn't intentional, where to, you know, where
Right.
to purposely piss somebody off. People can be petty. So so I hope that wasn't the reason why she dropped off the papers at the funeral. But again, that could have been. It seemed like he was okay with the divorce, so I don't see why why he just would not meet up with her somehow to sign the papers or have it delivered a certain place. So it's just a little alarming. Like, why would you send it to, a situation like that, an environment like that? So but I would have been glad if it was me, if I was ready for the divorce. I would have been like, I don't even care. I'm signing these papers.
Tell me about it. Where's producer? Can you find Usher's song and play it, please? People need to hear that song. Oh Lord.
That was just straight up sick and disrespectful. Because it's not that she couldn't find it, man. The lawyers could have got together and say, listen, we're gonna give the papers up. We're gonna get together and do the papers. Now, what Dr. Dre should have done was have his security team drop that lawyer where he stood and put him in the chapel next to the grandmother. That's what he should have done. Since they want to act ignorant, because you don't hear of him acting crazy. He's willing to do what he got to do. But now you want to do this? You want to be that sick? Now I'm going to be sick. Now you're going to go get a job at Wendy's because I ain't giving you nothing.
Well, he has to give her something.
I wouldn't give her a dime now. I'll figure out a way.
He has to obey the judge.
The judge is sick too. She wouldn't get nothing. Tell her to go to work. Tell her to go to work. You want to be disrespectful? Now go get a job.
So this is what our producer said. She said he said there was an attempt to serve him at the burial site as he stood next to his grandmother's casket. Yeah. However, sources connected to Young disputed that, claiming Dre was served in a cemetery's parking lot. Dre was allegedly so upset that he refused to be served, and the server may have left the papers at the grave site. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, see, but if the server left the papers at the grave site, technically Dre didn't get served. Dre has to touch
Dre
the
left the papers.
Oh, did he actually touch him?
Okay, wait. So it may not. It wasn't the wife. Supposedly.
No, she didn't serve the paper. Right.
No,
right.
But whoever is serving, whoever's doing the serving, because I've done it before, you actually have to put the papers in the person's hand, or they're not served. You can't just throw them in the door. That person actually has to take them out of your hand.
And servers are rude.
Pay that alimony.
But you know what? As our producer said, servers can be very rude. So he probably got pissed off and upset, and like, you know what? I'm gonna leave it right here. So so it's not up to her; it's up to the server as to when they're gonna choose to do so. And servers, they can be rude like that.
But you know why the servers are rude?
Why?
Because if you don't serve, you don't get paid.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know how many times I went out there to serve papers and couldn't find the person and waiting for 3 or 4 days? You get mad. So when you do catch them, you want to beat them up. Because now you're chasing them around.
Oh, God. According to the news report, allegedly, the server was her attorney. So he knows the law. So trust me, he will be paying that money.
I'm gonna call Dre tonight. I'm going to call Dre tonight and talk to him.
No, he did.
There's a way around all that.
He said he's going to call. Let me know how that conversation goes.
That was just disrespectful on the lawyer's part, too. That's disgusting.
Yeah, why wouldn't they just come together? The lawyers
come to the office. They're already getting divorced. Everybody knows they're getting a divorce.
Right. Okay, so since it was so disgusting, Don the realist, since it was just so this and she was all out of line and it was so disrespectful. Yes, all of that is yes. I agree, it was disrespectful. However, how else was she supposed to get those papers to him when he refused to accept them any other time? So that wasn't her first time trying to get those papers served to him.
When they agreed on the divorce, because they agreed on the divorce, right?
Right.
Okay. Get the lawyers. You come to the lawyer's office and you sit down and discuss it like human beings. Because I don't think he want drama. Because she probably know more about him than he want us to know. Mm-hmm. So he need to just go ahead and just take the papers, give her little $100 a month, and sit on her business about her way.
But okay, so listen. So our producer, I love our producer Sandrine because she does her research and gives us all of the facts.
Yes, she does.
She's amazing. So she said the documents served to him reportedly had to do with him paying his soon-to-be former wife the balance of $1,224 for her lawyer.
$1 million.
Sorry, $1 million. Excuse me, $1,224 and $567 for her lawyer fees. So, so that was the whole issue there. The lawyer wanted his money up front, basically.
So He's gonna pay that 1 million, Don the realist, $224,000, 567, 224,
And lawyer
$567,000
fees.
to that
Jesus.
attorney.
Wow.
Wow. I would have been right there with the attorney. Hit them papers with my money. Better have my money. Hit me.
Wait, it's like it's a meme, right? It's a meme. There's a little girl with in a meme, a GIF, and she's be standing at the door like, "Where my money?
Where my money? Where my money, Don?
But you know who? But you know who's gonna suffer the most? The kids.
They're
Yeah.
grown.
They're gonna suffer because now they're gonna choose between their parents on who they like the most.
The kids are adults.
That don't mean nothing. They still gonna be like, we like daddy or we like mommy. Mommy, you wrong. You should have did that. Daddy, you wrong for doing this to mommy, and you know all that. You know how they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll get over and grow out of it.
Yeah, they will. They in the trust. They in the trust. Yeah, let's move on.
Don the realist is really taking this personal.
You know, nothing.
Anything you would like to share with us, Don?
I know.
No, listen. I already told y'all. Listen. Regardless of what, if something was to happen, I told you guys this before. With me and my wife, my family, my wife will get whatever she want. It does not bother me because at the end of the day, whether I'm in the house or not, they got to be right, and that's it. If I have to get a 1-bedroom basement apartment and they stay in this house, so be it. That's what it is. That's how I was raised. I don't know no other way.
So what would y'all
respect
say
you
if a
for
person
that.
is? So what would y'all say if a person is having a hard time to serve someone? How should they do it? What should they do? Knowing that person, according by law, has to be served, and if every attempt they've made they have failed, what should they do when they know? Okay, I know this is a terrible time at a funeral, but this is the only way I can serve this person. What should they do?
Dr. Dre is a high-profile person. He can't run, so he will get served. He will get served.
Well, he did.
But it was the wrong place. So they could have went to his studio. They could have went to the Apple headquarters. He's there.
Oh God, really done?
Yeah, they could have did.
Apple headquarters.
Yeah, he there. They making another deal. They doing something
Not
else.
against Apple at all.
No, that's where he's at. He's there because they coming up with another product. He's there. It's on social media where he's at every day. She could have found him.
But I don't think it was her. I think it was the server and the lawyers.
Yeah, it was.
He definitely wasn't visiting Suge in jail, so they know he wasn't up there.
Okay, are y'all ready? Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about. Hey, come on, Don the realist.
What we got here?
Let's talk
You
about
my glasses for this?
sex. Everybody loves to talk about sex, so let's talk about sex tonight. The mother, sister, nub, whatever y'all want to call me tonight, honey. She Martin Day. No Mother Teresa around up in this mug. We're gonna talk about sex tonight. So we're gonna talk about.
Look, Donald gotta get his hat situated. Like,
I'm sweating. I'm sweating. The boss is watching tonight, so I got to be nice.
Oh.
Yes.
This is good because this is good for couples to know this. So this is
couples tune in. HMV fam, tune in. Go get your spouse. Just go get the other person.
Yeah.
And tune in because we got some education for you tonight on sexual incompatibility, intimacy, however you want to put it, and intimacy with and without sex. Sex is a great topic, as we all know, to talk about. It's a wonderful topic to talk about. I was looking up some research on sex incompatibility. And according to the New York Times, I'm always, because New York is like the capital of the nation. To me, yes. They say DC, New York.
Yeah.
But according to the New York Times, there's 15% of sexless marriages. So 15% in this nation, or according to that study, 15% of married people are sexless, meaning that I don't know why my tongue is tied up tonight, meaning that they do not, I guess I'm talking about sex and I'm supposed to be Mother Teresa, but meaning that they do not have sex. And a lot of it has to do with the incompatibility, the no chemistry, the no intimacy. Now, we have to understand that intimacy does not always include sex. It needs to. And
Right.
there is a form of sexual intimacy, but it is not all sexual. So that is something major. 15% of people that are actually married, they're couples, so they are free to have as much sex as they want to. Of course, the world feels like, hey, married or not, I'm gonna have as much sex as I want to. Do you, boo? However, in the marriage realm, there are 15% of couples that are like, we ain't having it. And you
Mhm.
know, Don the realist, since you're the only one on this show that's married, how would
Well,
you feel if you were not having sex in your marriage?
let me see, how would I take that? Well, first of all, that wouldn't happen. Um, if
I
it
know.
did, if it did, if it did, it would be a problem. You got to talk about it. But you
Yeah.
got to understand also, if the wife and the husband both work demanding jobs, sometimes they're tired. Especially if the wife have to come home, cook, clean, wipe Junior's nose, do Sally's homework, stuff like that. By the time she's finished, like she wants some big rusty, man climbing up on her.
Oh,
So I mean, things like that happen. But now let's flip it. If you're young and vibrant, hey, every day, twice on Sunday. But
mm-hmm,
now you got to understand this though. A lot of times when a woman get married, when
mm-hmm.
when a woman and man get married, okay, they together for 6 months to a year, you start to change. You start doing things you didn't do in the beginning of the relationship. You start looking a different way when you come to bed. So now you're not attractive no more. Before you was coming to bed looking, you was all dolled up. Now
Right.
you coming to bed with a old raggedy t-shirt and rollers in your head. You're like, come on, how am I gonna get turned on with that? No, I'm gonna go watch TV.
Right.
So, it's different things that happen. Or they just say, you know what? A lot of sometimes people didn't get married for sex. So it don't bother them if they don't have sex. A lot of times marriage is a business arrangement. I need you to help me financially. You need to help me financially. We don't gotta sleep with each other. Every once in a while I'll tickle your fancy and that's it.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah.
Wow. Hold that thought. Queen A, educate us a little bit on this sexual
Yeah. What does the
incompatibility.
stars what does the stars say about sex?
Yeah, what does the Lord say
You
about
know
sex?
what? You know what? Stop it. But
Yeah.
it's interesting because religion, I would say this, will have us in a box where we don't go outside of what we know in religion to study on different topics. God says, and the Bible says, He made good and what you may consider evil for His good. So I just have to say that. But so I took a class. I'm very big on yoga, meditation. And I took a class. It was this was when I was in New York, and it teach you about breath, right? So I did
Yeah.
learn something called tantra. So tantra is about intimacy, right? And intimacy is into me you see, right? So it's not just about connecting on a sexual level, but it's connecting on an energy level, on an emotional level, on a spiritual level. And that's what enhances the sex more, right? So, like with tantra is about breath, yoga is about breath. For y'all religious people, what God do? He breathed on the earth.
Yes,
He
yes,
breathed
yes.
to create. And that's what energy is breathing to create, right? So tantra is breathing to create intimacy in your relationships. So the sex can be better, right? So I took a class. No, I was single, so I took a class, but it was for singles as well as couples, and it was about connecting on a vulnerable level, right? I had challenges with being vulnerable. I was scared to be vulnerable. So I took classes on how to be emotionally more vulnerable and be able to open up, which is why I'm so open now, probably. So this class really and the class basically help you release anything that's holding you back. And when you take the class, it helps you release some things that you've been holding within you. So when I took the class and it was like, okay, you got to breathe, right? So 2 hours we had to exercise breathing out, breathing our lungs and exercising our lungs and so forth. So it tells you once you done the 2 hours, you'll start to feel whatever was pent up in you, right? So this is me.
Right.
I was breathing, right? I'm like, all of a sudden I was like, oh.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry, yo, but this is
Morris talking down the realist. Go ahead.
so I was like, okay, wait, why am I feeling this way? So she was like, whatever was pent up in you, right? She said, this is what you'll start feeling. So most people was crying, some people was whatever, and I had some pent up energy. So I was like feeling a certain way. So I was like, you know, but then they tell you how to channel it, right? How to deal with it, because when you learn how to channel it, you won't, it's not pent up energy any longer. So tantra is about connecting to your spouse on a deeper level, not sexual, but on a deeper level. When you look into your spouse's eyes, you breathe together, you learn what is sensual, right? I think they say a woman melanin, it is that helps her relax.
Yeah.
When a woman is relaxed, that's when she's most sexual, sensual, that's when she's ready. So the basically tantra is about helping her relax, helping him relax, connecting to each other on an emotional level, so you both can open up, and then sex can be enjoyable. So it's a lot I can say about that, but it's a very fascinating course. It's very fascinating information. It's all about connecting to your senses, connected to breath, connected to each other on an emotional level, and you open up. You're not afraid to be vulnerable with one another, especially like, say for instance, some people may have orgasms, right? And when they have orgasm, they may shake. The shaking is pent up energy, because you should because that energy wants to flow from somewhere, whether it's coming out whichever way, it just needs to
Right.
flow. So that's what orgasms is. So the tantra helps you breathe with your spouse, even with yourself, so you can connect. And you know what? You don't even have to touch each other or be intimate sexually to have an orgasm. So you learn how to look at one another. You learn how to just kind of feel each other energy. And by the way, if you're talking to someone on the phone, right? You're talking to your spouse, if you're married, or your partner, if you're not, you're dating. And sometimes you don't even have to talk about sex, but you kind of feel that connection. That's energy, y'all.
Oh my gosh. So, like if you think about someone and you have that feeling, you're like, oh Lord.
Exactly.
Oh,
You
But
cannot even be.
do you know what the Bible says about all of this?
Yes, tell
Since you
us.
mentioned it. All right,
Tell us.
First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 4.
you got
It
the
says the
Bible.
wife does not have authority over her own body, but yields to her husband. In the same way, the husband
Right.
does not have authority over his own body, but yields to his wife. So the
Mhm.
Bible says this. You can't get mad at me and don't want to take care of
Right.
me. If
Right.
you study the word of God, but it also says when you go down, unless you're devoting yourselves to prayer.
Yes.
Right.
So you can say, okay, I don't want to be bothered tonight. But the word, if we stand on the word, you're supposed to behave. But
But
again,
okay, wait.
when
Okay,
you
wait.
have certain things going on, sometimes it don't happen that way.
But okay,
But
Right.
so I'm glad. Oh, wait, I'm glad you brought this up, right? Because the
No,
Bible
because
is very,
I got a problem.
but the Bible is very firm, right?
right.
In that, how do so it's about connecting spiritually, emotionally to your spouse. With a sex, you don't want sex to be a job. Like,
Right.
it's like, of course, her body is not her own. It belongs to her husband. So say he come in the house like,
And
okay,
vice versa. And vice versa.
right. And he comes to the
Right.
house, or she come in the house like, look, I want sex. It's no type of intimacy, it's no type of connection. And this is where couples miss out. They forget to have that intimacy and take different classes on how to have intimacy, how to connect
Listen, no,
on a
oh,
deeper
no, 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 no,
level.
no, 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 no. You don't need no classes. All you need is some candles and a little Brian McKnight,
Don,
and
what's your
that's
wife's
it.
number? What's your wife's number? Call her right now.
She on right now.
Right
She
now.
she watching right now.
Let
She
me
watching
find
right
out.
now.
She gonna tell the
We're
truth.
trying
She
to
watching right
Okay,
now.
Darlene.
Some candles, a little late night snack, and bam.
This is Don the realist. We're trying to educate your husband. Carry on, Queen A.
Yeah, because it's not, because again, we think it's just this. It takes, for especially when you dive into deeper techniques and exercises, it keep that
Ooh,
spice in the relationship. It's not just sexual also, but it's
No.
on an emotional level where you all can talk vulnerably and be open emotionally. That way
yeah,
the sex is even more enjoyable. Like for
yeah.
instance, like some people, they can be married and not telling their spouse like, oh, I really don't like that position. Like, oh, I don't like when he touched me. Like, don't touch me.
That's true.
And you do it because you're married and you want to please your spouse, but you may not enjoy it. Are you
Right.
like, do couples even have that conversation? Like, are they enjoying, like, ask your spouse, do you enjoy this? What do you like? What do you want to see more of? See,
Listen,
Amen.
I
what's
don't
the
have to ask my
what's
wife
her number? Hold on.
anything. I
What's her
don't
number?
listen, cause you know why? Cause you know why? My cousin is on too. I know she watched. She gonna be texting me in a minute.
Uh-huh.
My wife, you met her, Kaneen. She's very quiet,
Yes.
but when it comes to me, she don't got no problem voicing her opinion.
Right.
So if Donald wasn't doing what he was supposed to do, Donald will know about it.
Hmm.
So being that she did not tell Donald he's not doing the right thing, I'm good. So there's no communication involved. Because we still like we walk by each other, smack each other, and giggle and laugh and all that, just like when we first met. Nothing has changed outside of me getting a little crazy in the head. But other than that, we good. We good.
Okay, y'all may have a great sex life, but there are some couples that
No,
do
there
not.
are some couples, but like I told you, you don't got to sit there and sit on no couch and talk to nobody.
Yes, you
Work it out.
do.
Work it out amongst yourself.
And you know
No,
what?
that
Sometimes
that's the purpose of pastors, counselors, therapists, because for your
All
relationship to
right.
go to the next
Let me tell you
level,
something. My pastor. Let me tell you something. My pastor will tell you. She tells you. She puts it on her husband.
she
That's
what?
what that
okay,
she puts it on him.
Okay.
She tell you.
okay,
She
And
like
I'm
because they
so
know that they even though they are pastors, they are human. They both have needs, and their needs are towards each other.
but what about the couples that do not? So they have a
No,
great
no, no. We've been to
great
like
sex life.
couples nights and whatever. They all sit there and throw out their business to
But
everybody. So you're
Donald,
looking at them sideways, huh?
what is it to the couples that having challenges? Like your relationship is great. Your pastor's relationships
All
are
right, the
great.
couples. All
What
right,
about
communication, communication. You're right.
what if they don't know
Communication.
how to communicate that? Because that's a very touchy. You can go with this in so many ways
Right.
because sometimes the your when it
But
comes
don't
to
you? But don't you think a man will be? You gotta understand, especially a black man. A black man now. You
right,
think that I want to sit down and tell somebody that I can't perform with my wife?
if you want to keep
it's,
your marriage, you will have to.
I prefer to listen. I'll be honest with you. I, as a black man, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that.
You
see,
may
and
not feel
see, wait, wait, wait,
comfortable with
wait,
it.
wait,
A lot of black men not comfortable doing
wait.
that.
So I'm glad that you said that because that's
Please.
the wait, no, because seriously, that's the challenge. A lot of people don't feel comfortable opening up in that aspect. And that's where certain techniques, especially skilled people, teach you how to open up. It sometimes it doesn't start off by talking. Sometimes it start off by exercising, like you're doing certain techniques and exercises. Is learning to come outside of your box, of what you believe and what you're comfortable with, and it's all about growing your relationship so it can be to another level, and it
Right,
can be very intimate. Again, intimate is not just sexual, but
right,
intimate can be so you're happy together even on another level.
right,
And you learn to open up, talk together, where you become best friends again. You do different things together, you travel, so you learn how to communicate and connect on a deeper level. So,
right. Absolutely
but
don't
in
do
our community, especially our community, we're not so open. I am, but a lot of people are not so open to it. and
That's true.
Yeah, and we have to look at that. Why aren't we open? And I want to say when people, when we used to certain things, right? Our brain gets, we train our brain. When we receive new information, it's hard to open up to new information because our brain been trained to think this way, to do this, to do this. So when we receive new information, the first thing to do is dump it from the brain instead of saying, okay, let me find out more. But you don't have to engage in it, but maybe question it. The questions are good because when you question it, then you begin to have some, you don't have to be interested and do everything, but you begin to ask questions so you find more about it. And not that's why the Bible talk about renewing your mind. You got to renew your
yeah.
mind, not in everything, but in some things, by asking questions, finding out about it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at least you opened your mind, you opened your brain to begin to do something outside of your box, outside of who you are. Growing is about renewing your mind and adding new
Yes,
information to your mind, to your brain.
that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And like you mentioned, in the very beginning, you see everything that God made was good. It's man that take something and make it bad. But the one
Yes.
thing I want to say, according to one of the online articles, Best Life, they did a study, a study dealing with sexual chemistry, sexual compatibility, incompatibility, sexual intimacy in couples, and they said one of the deal breakers, 70% of the people said sex is a deal breaker when it comes to, in a marriage, in a relationship. Sex is a deal breaker. And a lot of people don't understand that chemistry is not every single person that you meet a love interest. I'm not gonna say every single
Right.
person, but
Mhm.
that's another whole nother conversation. But a love interest that you meet, you may not necessarily have that sexual chemistry. Sexual chemistry is real. All I'm sure, Donna, you have a wonderful, marriage, so you have that sexual chemistry that a lot of people look for and a lot of people may want and may desire because they may have had it a partner or two ago.
Right.
And now
But
they're with someone else and that chemistry is not there, where Kama Sutra, Tantra, Reiki, all of that is available as far as how to transfer energy, how to.
Look at Donald's face.
no, I just wait. I'm just waiting for my sister to finish because I got a question I want to ask you.
Okay, so all of that is necessary. God put that in the mind of man, so
Mhm.
that we are able to grasp that information and apply it to our lives for our marriage, supposedly, but for in the relationship, so that that chemistry can be created. Since it's not there, sometimes it's naturally there, and sometimes it takes time because there are virgins that get together. Virgins don't know nothing about sex. They don't know anything. You got people that get together, they may have been blessed or they may have been blessed, but you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. But you're with this person and you want to make it work. And so that's a very important part. I'm not saying that's the only thing that's going to make the marriage work,
Right.
make it work
Exactly.
if
But do
it's
you
not.
know that sometimes this happened some years ago? It was a gospel artist. I don't want to say his name because I don't know if we're gonna get in trouble. But we spoke about him one time on one of the shows. He almost got divorced because of too much sex. He said he
Mhm.
wanted sex every day, all day, and his wife wasn't with that.
Well,
So
I'm sure.
they had to go sit down and talk to somebody so he
Right.
can calm down. Because he
Right.
said, he was coming in the room with toy, all kind of crazy stuff, and his wife
Mhm.
was like, "Where you going with that?" And he
Mhm.
said he had to fall back and he had to go to therapy in order to curb
See?
that because
Yes.
he almost lost his wife. So now I understand what you guys are talking about when you
Yeah.
say you have to talk to someone.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's a really good point, Don,
Mhm.
that you mentioned that, because sometimes that can be the case, and when you want it too much, anything, if you want too much of anything, that's excessive, and
Exactly.
excessive is not healthy.
That means you're
Right.
addicted to that means you're addicted to it. It's just like alcohol, cigarettes, drugs.
Yes,
You want it
food.
all the time. There's something wrong.
Exactly.
and
Something is
and that
wrong.
stems from somewhere, but again that goes back to how would he find ways to deal with that. And I thought about like Solomon in the Bible, right? He was very anointed, very creative, yet very sexual. He had many wives, and he was very sex. So that's another thing, right? It's like when you highly anointed, right? You very creative, you have a sex drive, you have a high sex drive. Like that energy has to be converted somehow, either into like a project, go exercise and go run it. It doesn't always have to be sex.
Right.
But that you have to divert that energy into another, into something else. But again, a lot of anointed people may have a challenge with that, especially when you think about gospel singers, like you mentioned, gospel singers, or those who are in the in the choir in church. They usually have challenges with their sexuality,
Yeah.
because again they're very creative, they're very anointed, that you have to be anointed to be able to sing and bless people through your through music. So that's a whole nother topic, but that says a whole lot when it comes to sex. And it's not, I would say this, not just sex but intimacy. I think we need to discuss it more, especially in
Yeah.
our community, but on a healthy level, not just going out having sex and doing this and doing that, but talk about it on a healthy level when it comes to relationships, when it comes to relating to people. But also intimacy could be with friends. Like, how do you relate together? How do you connect on an emotional level? You could be friends with somebody and not be comfortable enough to be honest with them. That's not a real friendship. So, so really intimacy is, again, into me you see. Like, you looking into me and you're seeing, like sometimes how you can talk to someone and before they even say anything, you already know what they're going to say. That's true connection. And that's what intimacy is looking into that person and seeing, seeing what's not being said, seeing certain things. And that's true connection. And that's what we're missing, especially in our community. So we have to learn how to communicate and talk to one another on a healthy level and become intimate, become vulnerable. We don't like to be vulnerable. Let me tell you, Coach Shalonda know how I was. I went through a whole transformation because I was a very closed person. Like, I was so hurt and disconnected emotionally. So I was very guarded emotionally. So I did the work to become more vulnerable and more emotionally available and, on a healthy level. So sometimes we have to do that to be able to relate to people and have healthy relationships.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's nothing like having that intimacy, in your relationship. And like you said, all relationships, because it's not always just about sex. Now, of course, you include that in your um, romantic relationship, with your significant other, your spouse. You want to have that intimacy. You want to have that. It's nothing like a connection, with your spouse, with your wife, with your husband. It's nothing. It makes the sex that much greater, and I know you guys had mentioned earlier, this is one thing. I don't know if it's more so in our community or across the board when it comes to women, about withholding. Yes, the Bible says we are not to withhold, as well as the man. Neither of us are to withhold, despite, he didn't say, but if it's an argument, that's not in the Bible. We're not to withhold, from our, spouses. But I do know that,
Donna want to say something. God,
yes, thank you. Um, I
can I make my point though?
yes, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
But I just, because so many women are probably like, right, because it's more so on our end. I don't hear too many men withhold. They're like,
There
take me.
you go.
But when it comes to the women, you have to understand that person, there needs to be reconciliation done before you just smash, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, because it will be cold. It won't be a connection. She will feel some type of way. You can make her feel like she's almost being raped. She's almost, she's being assaulted. You can make her really, those true feelings can come up when the disconnect is there. So before, it's not that she or he want to withhold, from their spouse, but it's just that when they've been hurt, you have to respect those feelings. You have to listen and hear their side, because that's what will begin, the process of reconnecting, so that y'all can have, sex, or, make love, again. So you just can't, oh, well, the Bible says this. Yes, the Bible does say that. And I'm not trying to withhold, but you need to reconnect so that you can, because it's a physical act. However, my body is, hello, it's my body. And I'm attached to my body. I have feelings. I have, it's me. I have emotions, I can feel. And I'm not going to do something that makes me feel even more, worse than, I already feel bad. And then I don't want to go here because we hadn't resolved our issue, but I'm going there because of, you're trying to stick this, stick the word to me. Okay, yeah, but you have to work out that situation so that you guys can reconnect. And it may not be the best, but at least it can be pleasant. Now, makeup sex is always best. But, but at least it could be pleasant. Go ahead, Don the Realist, because you're about to explode. Go ahead.
No, no. Well, you know what? Women, y'all do this all the time. We get into an argument. See, men, I guess we're not as emotional as you guys. So even if we mad at you, we just want ours, and y'all know that. So what y'all do is y'all put that lock and key on it and say, no, you're not getting none, and it's wrong. But if you haven't discussed what the problem is, I understand why you don't do it. But you got to understand too, if you're having sex and both of y'all are mad at each other, imagine what type of transformation that is. What
Mhm.
you're transferring the anger out of you into her now, because now y'all, you're intimate. Even with kissing, your saliva, you're transferring all that hate that you got. Y'all
Yeah.
just swish wash and it's all up in each other, and
Ooh, that's
Yes.
it's
powerful.
just nasty. It's
Yes.
just nasty. So
Wow.
y'all should be somewhat uh normal, if that makes any sense.
Hmm.
You can't be mad. Like you said, makeup sex is good. But all right, you for that moment, bam, 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 bam. He gave you the best 45 seconds of his life, and now y'all still mad at each other.
I'm done.
So it don't make sense. So what you do is you sit down, y'all discuss the situation, and then take it from there. If something happens that night, good. If it don't happen, so be it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Eventually it will happen.
Right.
But you don't want to be, you want to act like you just did 10 years in jail either and attack your wife.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. So you don't want to do that.
But it's I love that you how you put it when it comes to like exchanging or like that negative energy when you mad at one
Oh
another.
Yeah.
That's
God.
very
Yeah.
powerful. But it's interesting because again when I spoke about earlier how women have melanin and we are like of course we wire differently than men. So women when we are relaxed we're naturally more sexual, right? Because we're relaxed because it's things in our bodies, our chemistry makeup is things in our body that let I forgot what it's called, but things that come out in our body that makes us more relaxed and we become more sexual. So we have to be more relaxed. We have to talk things through. We have to be able to like, feel comfortable. When we get into an argument with our significant other, of course it's creating all these things and all these tensions in our body where it's hard for us to want to have sex and to open up, sexually because we mate emotionally.
Right.
So
Right.
so that's important to understand. That's why communication is very important and to talk things through and then the sex will
Yeah.
be off the chain. But I was watching this Netflix series, right? I'm not gonna say the name, but I was watching this Netflix series and it was a black couple, right? So the wife talked about how she doesn't want to have sex. He's always want to have sex and how, she can just walk in the house and immediately he want to have sex, where it takes her a lot to get aroused. So he
Yeah.
felt like she wasn't freaky, she wasn't sexual or sensual. So they went through counseling, they did a technique, a therapy session, and they had to practice certain exercises. So they had to practice, breathing exercises. But basically, what happened was he connected to his wife on an emotional level where he began to cry. And he said, he was like, listen, this doesn't happen too much for the black man. And he said, especially men, he said, but if you experience it, he said, it's amazing how vulnerable he felt in that space. And he said, it was amazing how he felt so connected to his wife, where now, because he said he realized that it wasn't that his wife is not sensual. He just didn't know how to open her up in that aspect to become sensual. So that's what he learned that his wife really was a freak. But he had to understand her and communicate not just in words, of course in words too, but also in actions. Like he massaged her body. He did different things. Start all into this. You're gonna be practicing tonight. Get ready,
Oh
wifey.
God.
Get
See,
ready.
I don't know. See, listen, I don't need to go sit on nobody's couch. I just sit here and listen to y'all.
You know what?
Baby, I'll be
Let us
upstairs in a
know
minute.
how to
I'll be upstairs in a minute. I'm bringing a hat. I'm bringing a hat.
play. God.
So basically,
You
like they were
know,
massaging one another and they were finding out points that make one another feel more aroused. And he got to the point where he started to cry because he felt so emotional and so open and so vulnerable. But he's like, wow, I didn't even know I had this in me. He said, I thought I was very sexual and, sensual and freaky. And I come to find out that that's not it at all. Like he learned that sensuality, intimacy was more than just sex, but it was connected to his wife and understanding how to connect to her. So they both enjoy it, more. And I loved it. It was an interesting show. So
yes, yes,
that's what
yes,
it's about.
yes,
It's about
yes.
connecting, learn to communicate and connect openly where it's like, I, you know, say when I get married, I want my husband and I to be like, I can call him like, "Hey, honey." Then all of a sudden, like we 10 years into the marriage, and I feel aroused, like, "Oh, I can't wait to come home."
I
Like
just
you don't
want
even got to say much to me. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah, I know that one. Every time, every time me and my wife go out,
mhm.
because Kaneen seen her. My wife is very attractive,
Yes,
and
she's
when both of
beautiful."
us go out, like when we go out and she's getting ready, I
Mhm.
just I get that little drool right here. I'll be like, oh my god, why do we gotta leave? Just stay here. But I said, you know what? I can't keep all that beauty from the world. I let the world see her, and then we come on back home. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
listen, baby, it's time. But we just got here. Let's go.
And
we can
even
talk.
when you out, even when you out with your spouse, or you like, you're driving in the car, like you could just touch gently, like just touch the leg gently, let them know, like, listen, not just all sex, but listen, I'm loving you, I'm feeling you.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's a more that's a real very romantic, first of all. And then a
yeah,
woman loves to hear, I mean, men, Donna, you tell us what you love to hear as a man, but for women, we love to hear you're beautiful, you're
yes,
sexy, you're this, you're that, and
yes,
touch
I
us
tell
like
that all the time.
yeah, you don't gotta be grabbing all of this and
no,
all of that, but touch, like maybe touch her face or touch her leg and let her know. And then for her, do it to him as well. Like, listen, rub his back of his hair, whatever. Let him know, like, oh, you looking good, honey. Oh, like,
yes.
let me stop. You gotta think I'm crazy, y'all. Let me stop.
Yeah.
John the realist, what do men like to hear? What do they want? What turns them on besides just looking at us?
Well, that's it. Now,
Oh my God.
you know, like what? Oh gosh, what turns us on? I
Yeah,
mean, every man is different. So,
well,
I
yeah,
mean, with me, it's like with my wife, she'll just say, "Oh, that looks nice on you. That you look good. That smells good."
Yeah.
Or on the other hand, she'll be like, "No, you don't have to put that much on." Like with cologne, she'll say that you don't have to put that much on. And then she'll say, we always playing around. She'll say, "Oh, that looks good on you," and I'll say, "Yeah, I know," something like that. And then she's like, "That's why I don't say nothing," you know. But
yeah.
or
That's
Well,
sometimes I'll
true.
let her tell me what looks good. I'll try on different things, and
mhm.
then she'll tell me, "Okay, that goes with that, whatever." So
And then another thing that for men and women to understand, men to understand that with women, if you don't praise her, if you don't, and it's not, it is praise, but it's also loving on her. We take that as you love me, you're loving on me,
Mhm.
But if you just don't pay me any attention and just
Yes.
whatever until it's time for bed, and you know what I mean, when it's time for bed, there's nothing there. I'm talking
Yes.
desert. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
Mhm.
I'm talking, desert. Yeah, desert comes in women's lives at a certain period, when you get up in age. However, you can help that desert come a lot sooner, with not being intimate or romantic. That's important. And if you don't know ways of how to romance your woman, your man, that's why they have shows, they have documentaries, they have research. Google will
but
tell you
yeah,
everything.
but you know what's the best feeling? You know what's the best feeling
What?
when you go to sleep. Now this is for me.
Mhm.
It doesn't even have to be sex. When I fall asleep and my wife's head is laying on my shoulders,
Oh, see,
Oh, see?
that's what's
it
good.
it, uh, it it always happens, and then we get up laughing like you fell asleep first. No, you fell asleep first. You fell asleep first. But
Mhm.
it's a great feeling knowing that she's there. But
Yeah.
now, how y'all do when y'all get mad at us? Y'all wrap up like y'all in a sleeping bag. Y'all know how y'all do. So
I know, right?
I like
We put on the
okay,
onesies.
yeah, sweatpants like y'all going to the gym. But
But
Oh my God.
I had this a previous relationship that I was in. And one thing I love that we have done, and for me, I'm a writer, so I speak very poetically in writing, and I love to give my man, words, especially you gotta know your love language, right? Some people like words of affirmation, some people like quality time, some people like physical touch, so you gotta know your love language. But one of the a past previous relationship, his love language was affirmations. So we will send each other texts every single day, and we decided to do it for 30 days. And we just talked about something that we love about one another. And when I tell you, I love that so much. And he loved it too. And I would just tell him things like, I miss you, or, he'd say like, he'd tell me, he'd talk about my eyes or just my personality, and it was so nice. And we felt more connected on that level because we understood what each other love languages were. And we were so open, communicative wise, that we knew what to do to boost the relationship, to make each other happy. So I love that. So you got to look and see. It could be something simple as that, but knowing each other love language and doing something that's going to boost up the love is important.
Yeah. So we could talk about this on and on and on. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a huge topic. It's definitely necessary in a relationship. And it's necessary to know, even if you're not in one, but you have plans to be in one. You need to
Yes.
know this information because it helps.
But what you got to do is tell the young ladies, like I told my daughters, a guy's going to tell you what
Oh
he
yeah.
thinks you want to hear,
Well, yeah.
because he has one thing on his mind. He's
Yeah.
not trying to sit down with you and know about you before he get to know about you.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
I'm trying to keep it clean, but the bottom line
So how
is
do you tell the
he going in for the,
difference?
huh?
How
How
do
do you
you
tell
tell
the
the
difference?
difference? So for women, how do you know when a man is just feeding you bull, basically?
Right.
Well, you have that waiting period, like we had on one of the other shows. You have that waiting period. Now, if he don't want to wait, that's what it's all about. So if he's
Right.
willing to wait your time, like say if you give it that 90 days or whatever it is, and on the third day of your relationship, he's like, all right, listen, what's up? Ain't
Right.
nothing up. What do you mean, what's up? And now if he's willing to hang around for 90 days, hey, he might be serious. So,
I
Yeah.
mean, some never wait around long enough until they get it.
well, yeah, but listen, as long as he don't go, if you don't break your rule and don't go against your belief, hey, then it's okay.
Actions speak louder than words. It's all about actions. And I look at I feel, I look at his energy. I'm very intuitive, so I can kind of know and pick up on certain things. But I look at his energy. I look at his actions, not just what he's saying in words, because you could say whatever in words, but I look at a person's actions as well. So.
True.
And
Yeah.
it's like how they get to know me. Like I love when a man asks me questions. First of all, I love to ask people questions. So I love when they ask
She
me
knows
questions.
it, y'all.
So because it shows me that they have an interest, that they want to get to know me outside of sex. Not It's not sex, but I want to get to know you. I want to know what you love, what you hate. Not just one thing I realized really quick. I know we got to go. When I went out on a date recently, right? And this guy was like, you always working. And I said, but I said, yeah, you're right. I said, but get to know me, get to understand. Like, don't just throw out you this. Get to understand the person behind, like find out why, find out what's going on. Find out, like say, how you doing today? Because I'm very, very
But if
that
you
person.
wasn't working, he'll have something to say about that.
See,
He'll
right.
say,
That's
why you not working?
right,
So
exactly. And that's what I look at. So when a person complain about something, instead of finding out what's behind this and not just complain. So that's what relationships is like, getting to know a person, find out what's behind this instead of just jumping to conclusions. So again, it's very important to communicate and establish a real connection with a person.
yep.
It is. This has been a wonderful show. We've run out of time.
It's
No more
good.
time, y'all. No more time. We've talked about sex. I didn't know. Now you know, y'all. Now I said
This
we
is
were
the
gonna
whole
talk
show.
about yeah. See how much sex is needed and desire to talk about. And you can learn so much talking about sex. We're going to continue to talk about sex. So just hold on. We're coming back next week. Hallelujah. We will continue to talk about sex. We really hope that y'all enjoyed the show and learned something. Learn something. Those of you that are in a marriage, we hope that you've learned something and that you will apply it. So be sure to like, share, subscribe on our YouTube page. Be sure to like and share on our Facebook and like our Instagram and join our Patreon. We will go deeper into the conversation. Just hold on. I promise you, we got some information for you.
You're gonna have slideshows and everything.
Oh yeah, we got live. Listen, live demonstrations.
Yeah, we're gonna have live demonstrations.
dog
We
is
don't have a woman lay on the table.
Somebody, yeah, okay.
We're
And
gonna practice the
somebody gonna be getting locked up live right on the screen.
We love y'all. We hope that you have a wonderful week. Be safe, and we will see you next week. Thanks, Tom the Realist, for coming.
Thank you.
I gotta go out and I wouldn't say, I'm not gonna say pick my cotton, but I gotta go to the farm.
That's
We don't pick cotton no more. We don't pick cotton no more.
You know, we can take that in two ways.
Right. We don't do that no more. We don't do that no more.
What do you call those places full of nuns? I'm going to the convent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Where
right.
you going, Queen A?
My bed.
Anyway, love y'all. Have a good night.
Good night.